Okay, so let's look at our workbook in page 198. We will not answer all the questions in the lesson, but we'll take a look at about 3 questions. We'll answer like 3 questions, then I'll leave you to answer the others. Now, looking at this graph, what does it describe? It describes Jade's savings, and the vertical side describes the amount in dollars. We have 50, 100, 150, 200, and $250 represented on the vertical side. It simply describes the amount of savings that Jade made. What about the horizontal side? It describes the month. It's the months from January to December, all the months in the year. So we're going to be looking at some questions to know how much she saved in each month. Now, question A says, in which month did Jade have only $50 in her account? Now, let's look at the vertical side where we have 50. We have 50 almost that's the first number on the vertical side. And let's trace it towards the left on a straight line, towards the right on a straight line to where we have the black dots. Now, we have a black dot somewhere almost in the middle, so let's trace it down to the vertical side where we have the month. It falls on June. It means Jade saved $50 in her account in June. So that answers the questions of what month Jade had $50 in her account. I'll take question G as the second question. The mode of Jade's money is $200, which she has in 4 of the months. Which are the months? Let's take the question again. The mode of Jade's money is $200, which she has in 4 of the months. Which are the months? Now, remember we spoke about the mode in the previous slide as the number that occurred most frequently, or the number that occurred the most. Now, it says the mode is $200. Let us look up at $200 and look at how many times we have the black dots on $200. Let's trace from 200 towards the right. We have the first one on April. If you trace it down to the months, the first month is April. The second black dot is on May. Then let's keep tracing down to where we have the third black dot towards the end of the graph. We have October, and the last one is in December. So what does this mean? She had $200 most frequently in her account, and the months where she had the $200 was April, May, October, and December. So that answers that question. I would answer also question H, and then you can answer the rest on your own. It says, during the year, Jade bought a new mobile phone with her savings, and the cost of the phone is $150. In which month do you think that Jade bought the mobile phone, and why did you choose the month? First, let's find the month we think she could have bought a phone for $150. Her savings in January was $100. Her savings in February was $150. The difference is $50, so obviously she would not be able to buy a phone at that time. Now in March, she had a savings of, now how much do you think the savings was in March? Remember from when we were reading the scales, we look at the interval between 2 units and then we divide it by the number of lines in between. Now, we have 50 as the interval between 150 and 200. So the interval between the savings is 50. And the lines in between is 2. It's on the second one that it gets to 200. So let's divide 50 by 2. We have 25. It means the next line is going to be an additional 25 units. That's $25. So in between here, the line falls on $175. Okay, that's the interval. All right, so it means in March she had $175. In April she had $200. In May she equally had $200. But take a look at June. Her savings dropped to $50 from $200. Don't you think that she must have spent $150 buying a phone during that time? That's the reason probably she has less than $150 in her savings. So she bought the mobile phone in June, and that's why she had a dip or a decrease in her savings of $150. And of course the mobile phone is $150, so apparently she must have bought the phone at that time. So that answers the question, why do we think that she bought the phone? Why do we choose the month June, and why do we think that's the time she bought the phone? Because that's the only time when the difference in her savings is $150. Okay, let's go to the next one, students. Now you can open to the workbook page 200, and let's see also the questions we have there. We'll just take 2 questions. We have only 5. I'll take 2, and then it makes it easy for you to solve the others. Now I'll take question C. This graph, first of all, what does it describe? It's describing people in the stadium who came for a sports carnival, and the horizontal side is describing the time of the day, while the vertical side tells us the number of people that visited the stadium for the sports carnival. Now let's answer question C. Question C says there are 500 people in the stadium at dash dash and dash. It means 500 people are in the stadium at what time? At what times of the day do we have 500 people in the stadium? Now let's go to the vertical side where we have 500. Do you see 500 up there, almost at the top of the graph? Okay, now let's trace 500 to where we have the black dots. We happen not to have just only one black dot. I think we have more than one, but let's trace it. We have the first black dot, and we trace it down. We have 11 a.m. Let's trace it on. The second black dot on 500, we have 4 p.m. and the third black dot is at 6 p.m. Now what does this mean? It means that there were 500 people at the stadium at 11 a.m., at 4 p.m. and at 6 p.m. And let's answer also question D. Question D says, what time do you think the sports carnival finishes and why? Okay, let's check carefully and look at the time. The time starts at 9 a.m. There's actually nobody in the stadium at 9 a.m. But it's asking us what time we think the sports carnival finishes. Let's look towards the end of the time. 6 p.m. All the times have people in the stadium except 7 p.m. 6 p.m. has 500 people. 7 p.m. has nobody in the stadium. So it means between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. nobody comes to the stadium. What does this tell us? The sports carnival definitely ends at 6 p.m. and everybody leaves the stadium, and the stadium is empty at 7. So to answer the question, the carnival finishes at 6 p.m. and the reason why we think it finishes at 6 p.m. is because after 6 p.m. there is nobody in the stadium. Okay, so now you can answer the other questions on your own and you send me your answers just as you've always done. Finally, let's check one more. Okay, let's see also page 201 and we'll look at this graph talking about the amount of time Toby spends doing homework during the week. Of course, you know that almost every day during the week you have to do your homework. So this will be interesting to solve. Let's see. The horizontal side talks about the days of the week. Definitely we cannot have more than 7 because we have 7 days in a week. So Monday to Sunday. And the vertical side talks about the number of minutes that he spends. Now let us look at the questions that we will solve. We will look at Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Then you can then solve the rest on your own. Let's look at Monday. We'll trace Monday up the day of the week, Monday. Let's trace it up to the time he spent doing the homework. If we trace it up to the black dots, we see that Monday has 30 minutes. So on Monday, Toby did the homework for 30 minutes. Let's see Tuesday. On Tuesday, there was an additional 10 minutes that he spent because we are tracing from Tuesday, that's from the horizontal side, up to where we have the black dot and to the left where we have the vertical line that states the number of minutes. So he spent 40 minutes doing his homework on Tuesday. Now let's see Friday and then you can do the others. Now let's see Saturday. On Saturday, let's trace it up to where we have the black dots and okay, I think I'll prefer that we do Sunday. On Sunday, let's trace it up to where we have the black dot and check out the time that Toby spends doing the homework. He must have had a lot of homework to do on Sunday, being the beginning of the week. Let's trace it up to where we have the black dots and trace it to the left, to the to the vertical part where we have the minutes. He spent 90 minutes. That's about 1 hour 30 minutes doing his homework. He always has spent lesser minutes, but this particular day he spends much more time doing his homework. So you can fill in the rest and send me your answers and I'll correct them if there needs to be any correction to be made. So students, it's been an exciting and interesting class today, trying to learn how to interpret information that is given on a graph. So what did we learn? We've learned how to read and interpret information on a graph, and also we've learned how to answer questions using the information on a graph. So this brings us to the end of the lesson for today. We'll have another lesson again tomorrow and it promises to be an interesting time again. Make sure you stay safe, eat healthy food, and stay out of trouble. Take care of yourselves, students, and have a good day.